In the heart of Germany lies a town called Hamelin, known for one of the country's most enduring folktales, the Pied Piper. The origins of this tale date back to the 14th century, with one of the earliest references found in a chorus book from that time period. This chorus book mentions a mysterious musician who led away the children of Hamelin after being denied payment for ridding the town of rats. The story goes that in 1376, the town was plagued by an infestation of rats, which posed a significant threat to its inhabitants and their livelihood. A skilled musician, dressed in pied clothing, offered his services to the town council, promising to rid Hamelin of its rodent problem. His solution was unconventional and enigmatic. He played a tune on his pipe that lured all the rats out of their hiding places and followed him to the Weser River, where they drowned. However, when it came time for the town to pay the piper for his services, they refused. In retaliation, on the 26th of June, he played another tune that bewitched the children of Hamelin, leading them away from their homes and families. This enchanting tale has persisted for centuries, passed down through generations, and remains a significant part of German folklore. In the heart of Germany, a tale as old as time itself echoes through the cobblestone streets of Hamelin. This isn't just any story, it's one that has captivated audiences for centuries, whispered among townsfolk and scribbled in ancient manuscripts. At the core of this enchanting narrative lies a mysterious musician, a figure whose melodies could charm even the most resistant listeners. The first written account of this story appears in a 15th century Lüneburg manuscript, hinting at the deep roots of this legend. Verses related to this tale are also found in a monastery at Hamelin, suggesting that the story has been woven into the very fabric of the town's history. Further evidence comes from 16th and 17th century sources, which also mention the tale of this enigmatic piper. But why Hamelin? What draws such a figure to this particular town? The answer may lie in the town's own history, rich with mystery and intrigue. As we delve deeper, we find that Hamelin itself is no stranger to the unusual. The town has long been associated with legends and folk tales that defy ordinary explanation. Perhaps it is this very atmosphere of the extraordinary that has lent itself to the creation and endurance of the Pied Piper's legend. As we continue to explore this mystical figure, the question that lingers is not just who he was, but why his legend has persisted for so long. The next chapter will unravel more of the mysteries surrounding this captivating figure and his enduring legacy. Hamelin was once plagued by an infestation of rats that threatened its inhabitants and their livelihoods. As pests, rats contribute to the spread of diseases such as the plague. The town's population, numbering around 60,000 residents at its peak, faced a significant challenge in maintaining public health amidst this rat plague. Rats, notorious for their destructive nature and ability to transmit diseases, can quickly turn an otherwise thriving community into a hotbed of contagion. To make matters worse, rats can also breed rapidly in favorable conditions, exacerbating the problem and making it increasingly difficult to control their numbers. The arrival of the Pied Piper, who was hired to rid Hamelin of its rat infestation, came at a crucial time in the town's history. With his enchanting pipe, he is said to have lured away not only the rats, but also the children of Hamelin as a retaliatory measure. The true significance of this event lies in its reflection of a genuine historical crisis, the medieval rat plague that gripped Europe and brought about widespread devastation. This dark chapter in history serves as a poignant reminder of the devastating power of disease and pests, and how even the most seemingly innocuous creatures can have catastrophic consequences. These aren't just any rats, they are black rats, intelligent and adaptable creatures. Their presence in the town is no coincidence. A mysterious musician arrives, clad in vibrant attire that leads some to mistake him for a superhero or court jester. He offers his unique services, ridding Hamelin of these pests. The townsfolk are skeptical, but desperate enough to agree. The piper's method is unconventional yet effective. He uses his pipe to emit a series of high-pitched sounds that only the rats can hear. These sounds are designed to confuse and disorient the rats, making them follow him out of their infested havens. With his pipe leading the way, the piper guides the swarm out of Hamelin and into a nearby forest, where they can no longer pose a threat to the town. But this dark chapter in history serves as more than just an anecdote about a clever piper. It underscores the devastating power of pests and the importance of innovative methods to control them. The story of the Pied Piper transcends time, serving as a testament to the enduring struggle between humans and pests, a battle that continues to this day. Yet, even in its darkest moments, there is a glimmer of hope. Where ingenuity meets necessity, remarkable solutions can be found. And so, the tale of the Pied Piper continues to captivate and educate, a living parable about the ingenuity needed to tackle even the most formidable challenges. On June 26, 1284, a mysterious musician dressed in colorful attire arrived in the town of Hamelin. He claimed he could rid the town of its growing rat infestation. The rats were carriers of Yersinia pestis bacterium, causing the deadly plague that had long haunted medieval towns. The townsfolk, desperate for a solution, agreed to pay the piper if he could successfully rid them of the rats. True to his word, the piper played a magical tune that lured all the rats out of their hiding places and led them away from Hamelin. In retaliation, the piper played a different tune that lured away not just the rats, but also the town's children. The tale of the Pied Piper of Hamelin is not just a whimsical fable, but a moral lesson about the consequences of betrayal. The piper's power and importance are underscored by the fact that his story has been passed down through generations, evolving from a historical event into a timeless parable. The Pied Piper legend is just one example of how folktales can encapsulate important lessons from history. Its cultural significance lies in its ability to convey timeless moral messages through an engaging narrative. The evolution of the Pied Piper legend is a fascinating journey from historical event to moral fable. But why did this particular tale capture the imagination of generations? The answer lies in its transformation into a moral fable. In retaliation, the piper used his enchanting music to lure away the children of Hamelin on June 26, 1284, a date that would become synonymous with this legendary event. The piper's retaliatory action serves as a stark moral lesson, the consequences of unjust treatment and broken promises. Over time, this historical account evolved into a cautionary tale that has been told and retold, shaping our collective imagination. This transformation from real-life event to moral fable is not unique to the Pied Piper story. Many folktales start with a kernel of truth and grow into tales that carry timeless lessons. The Pied Piper legend stands as a poignant example of how stories transform over time, carrying forward the wisdom of our past. The year was 1347, 1351, a period of immense upheaval and transformation. Amidst this tumultuous backdrop, a mysterious event unfolded in Hamelin on June 26, 1284. Approximately 130 children vanished from Hamelin around the same date. The young ones used to gather at a spot called Koppenberg, where they would play and socialize. This historic incident is believed to be the origin of the Pied Piper legend. Rattenfinger House serves as a physical reminder of this story and the deep historical roots it draws from. The house is a testament to how local lore can evolve into grand folk tales that resonate across generations. By grounding the story in a tangible landmark like Rattenfinger House, we can see how tales transform over time while still holding on to their original essence. This catastrophic event left a deep mark on society, altering economic structures and cultural practices. While the Pied Piper's story is often associated with rats, it also serves as a metaphor for the invisible yet devastating forces that can sweep through communities. plagues are not just about the visible symptoms, but also about the unseen carriers, be it rats or other vectors that spread diseases like the Black Death. Interestingly, Hamelin itself has a fascinating connection to plague history. The town of Hamelin was once at the crossroads of major trade routes, making it particularly vulnerable to disease outbreaks. In fact, the Pied Pipers incident is believed by some historians to be a representation of an actual event where children were sent away to colonize less populated areas, potentially as a way to manage the spread of disease. The tale thus serves not only as a cautionary story about greed and its consequences, but also as a reminder of the strategies employed to control the spread of disease. This perspective puts the Piper's task in a broader historical context, showing how communities throughout history have dealt with pandemics using various means. By grounding the story in real plague history, we see that the Pied Piper is more than just a folklore character. He stands as a symbol of resilience and adaptability in the face of unseen threats. Today, the story continues to captivate audiences around the world, reminding us that even the most enduring tales are often rooted in true historical events. As we close this chapter, we reflect on how the Pied Piper's legend serves as a poignant reminder of our collective history and the ongoing struggle against unseen threats. The legend of the Pied Piper has captivated minds for centuries, but its influence extends far beyond medieval folklore. At least 31 common types of rats have been identified, each with distinct characteristics and behaviors. Among these, the brown rat or Norway rat is one of the most well-known species. Rats are found in various environments, such as dense forests, mountain slopes, urban rooftops, and rice fields. The presence of rats has ecological roles specific to their natural environments. But the tale of the Pied Piper goes beyond these facts. It weaves a story of mystery and intrigue that has captivated generations. But why did the children follow the Piper so obediently? And what happened to them after they vanished with him? These are questions that continue to haunt historians and scholars. The fact that the children vanished on the same date as the Pied Piper incident adds to the enigma. Did the children willingly follow him? Or were they somehow coerced into it? Despite the lack of definitive answers, the legend of the Pied Piper continues to intrigue us. The unresolved questions add a layer of fascination and wonder that keeps people coming back to this tale time and again. The true story behind the Pied Piper remains shrouded in mystery, but it serves as a reminder of how our collective imagination can transform even the most mundane events into enduring legends. The city was encircled by sturdy walls and towers, providing a measure of safety in an era rife with conflict. But life within those walls was not easy. Medieval towns were crowded and lacked many of the modern amenities we take for granted today. Medicine was rudimentary, hygiene was poor, and diseases like the Black Death were a constant threat. The political climate of medieval Germany was also tumultuous. The Holy Roman Empire was fractured into countless small states and territories, each with its own ruler. This led to frequent power struggles and conflicts among the nobility. Adding to this complexity was the influence of the Catholic Church, which wielded significant political and social power. Church officials often intervened in local affairs, complicating the already delicate balance of power. Against this backdrop, the story of a mysterious piper who led away the children of Hamelin took on added significance. It served as both a cautionary tale and a symbol of the chaotic times in which it was set. Medieval Europe was a vibrant tapestry of musical traditions, where instruments played a crucial role in daily life and cultural expression. From the grand halls of nobles to the humble homes of peasants, music was omnipresent, weaving together the fabric of society. Among the most common instruments were the harp and the lute, both stringed instruments that could produce a range of melodies. The harp, with its elegant curves and resonant sound, was often played by bards to entertain noble courts. The lute, with its distinct body shape and fretted neck, was favored by troubadours who traveled from town to town singing tales of chivalry and love. Flutes, made from wood or bone, were also widespread. Their clear, melodious tones could be heard in both secular and religious settings. In the hands of skilled musicians, these instruments brought to life the stories and emotions of medieval society. Music was not just entertainment, it held power and influence. The harp, for instance, could evoke feelings of grandeur and nobility, while the lute's intimate melodies might convey tales of love or loss. But beyond their role in entertainment, these instruments carried deeper significance. They served as symbols of unity and cultural identity within medieval communities. The sound of a lute or flute could bind people together, echoing through the streets and into the hearts of those who heard it. In this sense, the music of medieval Europe was more than just a form of art. It was a living, breathing part of its people's collective soul. In the year 1347, a catastrophic event began to sweep across Europe and Asia, the Black Death. This was no ordinary plague. It was a pandemic of epic proportions. Carried by fleas and spread through infected rats, the disease known as Yersinia pestis wreaked havoc on populations. By the time it reached Europe, it had already caused significant damage in Asia, decimating entire communities. The arrival of the Black Death in Europe marked a turning point in history. The disease spread rapidly, affecting up to 60% of Europe's total population within a span of just 4 years. Local economies crumbled as the labor force dwindled, and social structures were upended due to the loss of so many people. Amidst this chaos, fear and superstition ran rampant. People believed that the plague was a punishment from God or the work of evil spirits. Many turned to desperate measures, such as locking themselves indoors or even burning their own homes to try and stave off the disease. However, these efforts were often in vain as the Black Death continued its relentless march through the continent. It is possible that the mysterious figure who led away Hamelin's children was a response to the unimaginable horrors and loss inflicted by the Black Death. As we delve into the rich tradition of folklore and myth in medieval Germany, it's clear that these tales often serve as a reflection of the cultural beliefs and historical events of their time. Medieval folklore was deeply influenced by pagan traditions that predated Christianity. These stories often blended with Christian themes, creating a unique tapestry of myth and legend. One common theme in German folktales is the struggle against supernatural forces. Stories like the Brothers Grimm's Hansel and Gretel feature children outsmarting malevolent entities, reflecting both fear and resilience within society. Influence from pagan traditions is evident in the transformation of seasonal celebrations into Christian holidays. For instance, the winter solstice became associated with the nativity story, integrating ancient beliefs into religious practices. The art of storytelling was highly significant in medieval Germany. Tales were often passed down orally, with each telling adding layers to the narrative. This communal act of preserving and enhancing stories cemented folklore as a vital part of cultural identity. Folktales also played a role in explaining natural phenomena. The legend of the Pied Piper, for example, might have emerged from a desire to make sense of an unexplainable event, such as the sudden disappearance of children. By framing these incidents within a supernatural narrative, medieval Germans could cope with uncertainty and find comfort in the familiar structure of a story. Beneath the surface of such stories lies a profound understanding of human nature. They illustrate the timeless themes of good versus evil, wisdom against folly, and the power of redemption. Exploring medieval folklore provides insights into how societies processed complex emotions and historical events through storytelling. It offers a glimpse into a world where magic and reality intertwined to create lasting narratives. Understanding the true story and historical significance of the Pied Piper of Hamelin within this context reveals how folklore evolved over time, absorbing elements from various cultural strands and shaping the collective consciousness of medieval Germany. This perspective on medieval folklore sets the stage for appreciating the rich tapestry of myths and legends that continue to captivate us today, as they did centuries ago. In the medieval era, rats were often associated with disease and misfortune. This belief was rooted in superstitions that held immense sway over the populace. Rats were seen as carriers of the plague, a devastating disease that swept through Europe during the Middle Ages. Music also played a significant role in medieval superstitions. Certain tunes were believed to have magical properties, capable of influencing both people and animals. Magic and witchcraft were deeply ingrained in medieval culture, further shaping stories like that of the Pied Piper. These superstitions provide a rich context for understanding the enduring appeal of the Pied Piper tale. Exploring these beliefs deepens our appreciation for the cultural landscape that gave rise to such captivating legends. As we delve deeper into the tapestry of medieval beliefs, the story of the Pied Piper unfolds with new layers of meaning. In medieval times, the countryside was dotted with towns that often depended on traveling musicians for news and entertainment. These medieval wandering minstrels were a vital part of society's fabric. These minstrels traveled from town to town, carrying stories, songs, and news that connected isolated communities. They were more than just entertainers. They were carriers of culture and information. Often, these minstrels would perform at town squares or inns, regaling audiences with tales from far-off lands. Their performances were as much about enchantment as they were about communication. Their repertoire was vast and varied, including heroic epics, legends, and even moral lessons. These stories held a powerful grip on the collective imagination. For many towns, these minstrels were their only link to the wider world, bringing news and perspectives that might otherwise have been locked away in distant cities. In a time when travel was arduous and dangerous, these minstrels braved long journeys, often on foot or with simple carts. They traversed treacherous terrain to bring their art to remote villages. Their lives were marked by the same hardships as many medieval travelers: rough weather, hazardous roads, and the constant search for lodging. Yet, their mission was to bring joy and connection to others. These medieval wandering minstrels were more than just mythical figures. They were vital links in a chain of communication and culture that spanned the known world. In the heart of medieval Europe, towns were not merely clusters of homes, but intricate webs of governance and society. As we explore the true story behind the Pied Piper of Hamelin, let us first understand how these medieval towns were governed. The core of medieval town governance was the city council, often composed of local nobles and influential merchants. These councils wielded significant power, overseeing everything from public works to defense. Decisions were made through collective deliberation, with each councillor bringing their unique expertise to the table. The Piper's retaliatory action, luring away the town's children, highlights the delicate balance of power and responsibility that governed medieval towns. It serves as a stark reminder of how the decisions made by those in authority could have far-reaching consequences. In medieval Europe, the presence of children in stories often served as a symbol of innocence and vulnerability. Unlike modern literature, where children are often central characters, medieval children's tales were rarer and had deeper allegorical meanings. One of the prominent themes in medieval literature was the struggle between good and evil, often personified through children. In these tales, children frequently represented innocence and purity, while adults symbolized corruption or moral decay. Stories like The Little Match Girl and Hansel and Gretel are classic examples where children face trials and tribulations, embodying the resilience of innocence in the face of adversity. The tales often served as moral lessons for adults, teaching them about the importance of protecting and nurturing children, who were seen as the future hope of society. In Hansel and Gretel, the siblings' journey through the forest mirrors the challenges faced by medieval societies. The story warns against abandonment and neglect and emphasizes the importance of familial responsibility. The Pied Piper of Hamelin stands out in this context because it is a rare instance where children are central to the narrative in a way that challenges traditional medieval themes and lessons. In most medieval tales, children were passive recipients of adult wisdom or victims of adult folly. The Pied Piper story, however, features children as active agents who are led away by a supernatural figure, subverting the usual power dynamics. This departure underscores the enduring fascination with the legend. The children's fate remains a mystery, leaving room for speculation about their role in medieval society and the broader lessons they might be imparting. Beyond the town of Hamelin, the Pied Piper's legend weaves its way into the fabric of medieval Europe, influencing other folk tales and cultural stories. In the annals of European folklore, magical figures often wield the power of music to captivate or control. This motif echoes the enchanting tune of the Pied Piper, reflecting a common cultural theme. These narratives highlight the enduring belief in music's mystical power, a trope that finds fertile ground in medieval folklore. The tale of the Pied Piper thus becomes a cornerstone in this broader narrative tradition. The legend's influence extends beyond music to encompass magical figures who use their gifts to lead or deceive. In Slavic folklore, Koshi the Deathless holds his soul captive within an egg, echoing the Pied Piper's manipulative magic. Across the continent, the Pied Piper motif finds expression in various guises: the enchanting tune that leads away, the magical object that holds sway. These stories intertwine to create a rich tapestry of medieval folklore, each thread reflecting common beliefs and fears. In every village square where children gather, the echoes of the Pied Piper can be heard, a testament to his enduring influence on European folklore. His tale serves as both a cautionary fable and a fascinating glimpse into medieval culture's fascination with the mystical powers of music and magic. As night falls, these stories are passed down from generation to generation, ensuring that the legend of the Pied Piper continues to capture imaginations and fuel speculation about its true meaning. And so, the enigmatic figure of the Pied Piper stands not just as a historical curiosity, but as a living embodiment of Europe's rich folkloric heritage. Common instruments used by these musicians included the harp, lute, flute, and tambourine, each with its own distinct sound and cultural significance. The role of music in medieval society was profound. It accompanied rituals and ceremonies, told tales of heroism and tragedy, and served as a means of social commentary and critique. One of the most renowned musicians of this era was the blind bard, Demodocus. His performances were legendary for their ability to transport listeners into the heart of his narratives, as described by Homer in the Odyssey. But perhaps even more intriguing were the minstrels, traveling musicians who brought news and entertainment from one village to another, acting as living newspapers of their time. These wandering storytellers could be found at fairs and festivals, in taverns, and even in the halls of noblemen, their music serving as both entertainment and a vital source of information. The power of music to enchant and lead, as attributed to the Pied Piper, reflects an enduring belief in the magic of melody, a belief echoed through countless tales and traditions of medieval Europe. As the Black Death swept through Europe, it was a time of sheer terror and helplessness. The epidemic's devastating impact left people desperate for answers and solutions. One of the earliest responses to the plague was the adoption of quarantine practices. Cities and towns began to isolate suspected plague victims in designated areas to contain the spread. Physicians of that era, often referred to as plague doctors, were tasked with managing outbreaks. These doctors developed protective gear to shield themselves from the disease while tending to patients. The distinctive costume of a plague doctor included a long overcoat, gloves, and a bird-like mask filled with herbs. The strange appearance of these doctors, however, did little to ease public fear and panic. As the epidemic raged on, hygiene practices began to evolve. Regular hand washing and the use of disinfectants became commonplace in an effort to curb the spread. These early medical responses shaped how future outbreaks were managed and laid the foundation for modern epidemiology. The plague doctors' efforts, despite the limitations of their time, were a testament to human resilience and ingenuity in the face of such catastrophic events. As the plague doctors' efforts illustrated, medieval Europeans faced immense challenges in their understanding and management of diseases like the Black Death. Superstition played a significant role in how they grappled with these threats. Common superstitions related to pests and plagues were deeply ingrained in medieval culture, influencing daily life and decision-making processes. One prevalent belief was that rats were seen as harbingers of disease and ill fortune, contributing to the spread of plague. This fear led to various attempts at exterminating these pests, including the hiring of rat catchers like the legendary Pied Piper. Beliefs about magical figures and their powers were also pervasive in medieval society. These figures, often known as wise women or cunning folk, were thought to possess the ability to heal through herbal remedies and rituals. The influence of magic and folklore on daily life was profound, shaping not only how people sought remedies, but also how they explained the unexplainable. The Pied Piper legend could be seen as a reflection of this cultural milieu. While the specific details of the Pied Piper story may never be fully known, the enduring nature of the tale suggests that it was deeply rooted in the collective consciousness of medieval Europe. This legend might have emerged from actual historical events, where a mysterious figure used his magical prowess to rid a town of vermin and then sought retribution when his services were not properly compensated. As we delve into the historical context of the Pied Piper story, it becomes clear that the beliefs and superstitions surrounding pests and magical powers played a significant role in shaping this enduring folktale. The interplay between magical beliefs and the practical challenges of daily life offers us a glimpse into the worldview of medieval Europeans, revealing how they navigated the complexities of their time. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect is how these beliefs continue to resonate through stories and folklore, even today, reminding us of our shared human experiences across centuries. As we explore the enchanting world of medieval magic and superstition, we gain a deeper appreciation for the cultural forces that have shaped our collective imagination. Medieval music was a rich tapestry of melodies and rhythms, weaving together cultures from across Europe. It was the era of Gregorian chants, echoing through vast cathedrals, bards strumming lutes by castle firesides, and troubadours serenading royal courts. With the grim reality of plague came desperate measures to contain it. One brutal method was the burning of houses and entire communities where the disease was suspected. Isolation became another common tactic. Towns and cities would be cordoned off, restricting movement to prevent the spread of infection. Herbs and remedies were also employed in the fight against plague. People turned to natural cures, hoping that a mix of sage, garlic, or thyme might ward off the dreaded illness. These methods, though drastic, were a testament to the medieval world's grasp of public health principles. Yet, they lacked the finesse and effectiveness of one legendary figure, the Pied Piper. Unlike the crude tactics of his contemporaries, the Pied Piper offered a more nuanced solution. He used music to lure away not just rats, but also the disease itself, a subtle yet powerful method. His approach underscored the importance of creativity and precision in controlling plagues. While others resorted to brute force, he relied on ingenuity. The Pied Piper's legend serves as a reminder that even in the darkest times, there can be light and music guiding us through. The Pied Piper's legend has been vividly depicted in medieval art throughout Europe for centuries. Illustrations, carvings, and paintings from this era offer a visual timeline of how the story was perceived over time. Illustrations from medieval manuscripts often show the Pied Piper playing his flute while leading rats out of the town. These images are simple yet powerful, capturing the essence of the tale with a few lines and shades. Some carvings depict the Pied Piper standing outside the town gates, his flute held to his lips. The rats are shown scurrying away in fear or fascination. These carvings emphasize the mystical power attributed to the piper's music. Paintings from medieval Europe sometimes feature a more fantastical depiction of the Pied Piper. In these works, he is often portrayed with vivid, colorful attire and surrounded by a magical aura. Through these visual representations, we can trace how the story has evolved over time. Each piece of medieval art provides a unique perspective on the Pied Piper's legend, from its earliest written accounts to its enduring cultural impact. By examining these works, we gain insight into how medieval Europeans interpreted and passed down this enchanting folktale. Each piece adds to the rich tapestry of the Pied Piper's story. This visual timeline offers a glimpse into the enduring fascination with the Pied Piper and the power of music. Whether depicted in simple illustrations or fantastical paintings, the legend lives on as a symbol of hope and resilience. In the quiet halls of medieval monasteries and the bustling streets of old Hamelin, the Pied Piper's story continues to captivate. Each piece of art tells a part of this magical tale that has stood the test of time. While the tale of the Pied Piper enchants us with a lyrical solution to Hamelin's rat problem, medieval towns employed various practical methods for rat eradication. One such method was the use of terriers, specifically trained dogs known as ratters, which were bred and trained to hunt down and kill rats in their burrows. These dogs were skilled at locating rat nests and digging them out, often accompanied by hunters or rat catchers who would then kill the rats. The efficiency of these terriers was particularly valuable in densely populated urban areas where rats thrived. Another common method involved the use of traps, which were often baited with food to lure rats in. These traps could be simple snares or more complex devices designed to capture and kill the rodents. Poison was also employed, although its use was often limited due to the risk of secondary poisoning, harming other animals or even humans who might come into contact with the poisoned rats. Community efforts were crucial in rat eradication as well. Neighborhoods would often coordinate cleanup campaigns, removing potential food sources and nesting materials that attracted rats. These communal actions helped to create an inhospitable environment for rats, making it difficult for them to survive and reproduce. The Pied Piper's method of luring rats away from Hamelin with music, while seemingly magical, was part of a broader set of strategies employed to manage the rat population in medieval times. In this context, the Pied Piper's innovation was not isolated, but rather a unique and perhaps more dramatic approach within the broader landscape of medieval rat eradication techniques. The medieval era was fraught with challenges, not least among them the persistent problem of pest control. The Black Death, which swept through Europe between 1347 and 1351, is one stark reminder of how devastating plagues could be. In response to this threat, various rat control methods were employed. Traps, designed to capture and sometimes kill the pests, were a common sight in many households and public spaces. Poison was another tool in the medieval arsenal against rats. Ground-up glass or other toxic substances were often mixed with food to lure the unsuspecting rodents to their demise. Natural predators, such as cats, were also enlisted in the fight against rats. Cats were not just beloved pets, but also valued for their ability to hunt down and eliminate these pests. Despite these efforts, however, the rat population remained a tenacious problem. The rat's adaptability and resilience often outpaced the medieval control methods. Historical accounts tell of some successes, but many failures in controlling rat populations. For instance, traps might capture a few rats, but their kin would quickly learn to avoid these devices. Poisons, while effective in some instances, could also pose risks to humans and other animals. The uncontrolled spread of toxic substances in densely populated areas was a significant concern. Moreover, cats, though effective hunters, could not keep up with the rat population's exponential growth. Their efforts were simply overwhelmed by the sheer number of rats. The desperation to find a solution that could effectively deal with the rat problem grew in towns like Hamelin, This desperation set the stage for more extraordinary measures, such as the hiring of the Pied Piper. It underscores how deeply rooted these issues were, and how desperate measures could sometimes be the only recourse in a time when more conventional methods proved insufficient. In the medieval world, where science and superstition often intertwined, astrology held a significant sway over daily life. Astrologers were consulted not just for personal matters, but also for decisions that shaped entire towns and communities. The alignment of planets was believed to influence everything from harvests to wars. In Hamelin, a town steeped in folklore and superstition, the belief in celestial influence was particularly strong. Historical records indicate that astrological events were often noted and considered important. While there is no direct evidence linking the Pied Piper to astrology, it is clear that such beliefs would have shaped how people perceived his arrival. His ability to control rats and later children could have been seen as a sign of celestial favor or a warning from the heavens. This could explain why the legend has endured, echoing the mystical awe and fear that surrounded astrological events. In medieval times, when the line between the mundane and the divine was often blurred, such stories held a special significance. Understanding this cultural context helps us appreciate the true depth and resonance of the Pied Piper legend. In medieval Europe, urban planning was a matter of necessity rather than design. Towns were often built around castles or monasteries, with narrow streets and tightly packed houses to maximize protection and efficiency. These streets were typically unpaved and often muddy, exacerbating the spread of diseases carried by pests like rats. Moreover, shared wells and open drainage channels provided ideal breeding grounds for these vermin. Rats, in particular, thrived in these environments due to their adaptability and the abundance of food scraps. They could easily navigate the narrow alleys and find refuge in the crevices of closely packed houses. The lack of sanitation facilities compounded the problem, as waste accumulated in communal areas, attracting more pests and further spreading diseases. Hamelin, like many medieval towns, was particularly vulnerable to such infestations due to its dense layout and limited resources for pest control. The town's narrow streets and shared amenities created a perfect storm for the rapid spread of rats and the diseases they carried. This medieval context underscores the need for innovative solutions to address pest problems, such as those proposed by the enigmatic figure known as the Pied Piper of Hamelin. The Pied Piper's story takes on a new dimension when seen through this lens. It becomes not just a whimsical tale, but a testament to the ingenuity required to tackle pressing urban issues. By understanding the historical and environmental context of medieval Hamelin, we can appreciate the true significance of the legend, a call for creative problem-solving amidst challenging circumstances. Though the tale of the Pied Piper is shrouded in mystery and enchantment, it serves as a reminder that, even in times of adversity, innovative thinking can pave the way to resolution. In the medieval era, when tales of enchantment and mystery captivated audiences, beliefs about disease and its transmission were rooted in ancient theories rather than modern scientific understanding. One prominent belief was the miasma theory, which held that diseases arose from noxious or foul-smelling air, a corrupt vapor that was thought to emanate from decaying matter. This idea originated in ancient Greece and persisted through the medieval period, influencing how people understood and attempted to prevent illnesses. Medieval physicians, lacking modern medical knowledge, often prescribed remedies based on this flawed understanding of disease transmission. For instance, they might recommend burning aromatic herbs to purify the air and drive away miasmas, essentially attempting to mask or eliminate foul odors. Other common remedies included drinking infusions of herbs believed to have cleansing properties and using scented oils and resins to create a barrier against the supposedly harmful vapors. While these methods offered some comfort through ritualistic practice, they were largely ineffective in preventing or treating genuine illnesses. Despite their limitations, These approaches were among the few available options during the medieval period, especially during outbreaks like the Black Death that devastated Europe in the 14th century. Medieval physicians and townspeople alike were baffled by this relentless plague, which spread rapidly through Europe, Asia, and Africa without a clear cause or cure. Some desperate measures to combat the plague included isolating infected individuals and their families, although this was often difficult to enforce due to limited understanding and fear. However, the miasma theory and other prevalent beliefs about disease transmission did little to stop the plague's rampage, as the true nature of infectious diseases was not yet understood. In this context, the legend of the Pied Piper of Hamelin takes on an intriguing significance. Imagine a town beset by a mysterious infestation. In this case, rats that carried disease and posed a significant threat to public health. The Pied Piper's supposed ability to rid Hamelin of these pests could have been seen as a metaphor for hope and control amidst the chaos and fear caused by disease outbreaks. His enigmatic presence and the tale of his role in Hamelin might have offered comfort and a sense of order in a world where understanding and treating illnesses was still beyond reach. This interpretation adds another layer to the Pied Piper's enduring legend, highlighting how even in times of great uncertainty, people find solace in stories that promise a solution to their fears. Perhaps the true power of the Pied Piper lies not just in his musical prowess, but also in his symbolic role as a beacon of hope amidst the darkest periods of human history. The medieval world, though often portrayed as primitive, harbored a deep understanding of acoustics. Sound waves were understood to travel in specific patterns and frequencies, much like today's physics. In medieval Europe, the study of sound was not just an academic pursuit, but also a practical one. Monks and scholars would experiment with various instruments to understand their unique acoustic properties. Legends and folklore from the time often hint at this knowledge, suggesting that certain sounds could influence both people and animals in mysterious ways. In medieval times, it was known that certain frequencies of sound could repel or attract pests like rats. This knowledge was often used by town musicians to control infestations. There are documented instances where medieval musicians were hired specifically for their acoustic prowess, much like the Pied Piper, to deal with pest problems in towns and villages. This understanding adds a layer of plausibility to the legend, suggesting that the Pied Piper's true power may not have been purely magical, but rather deeply rooted in the acoustic science of his time. In a world where sound was seen as a tangible force with real influence, the idea that a skilled piper could lead away both rats and children takes on a new dimension of credibility. As the tale of the Pied Piper unfolds, it's important to understand that his methods were not unique in medieval Europe. Throughout the Middle Ages, various strategies were employed for pest control, especially against rats. These approaches offer valuable context for the piper's actions. One of the most common methods was the use of cats. Domestic cats were often kept for their ability to hunt and kill rats. In cities and towns across Europe, cat populations were maintained to help manage pests like rats. Another prevalent strategy was the use of traps. Medieval people crafted intricate traps designed specifically to catch rats. These traps often incorporated mechanisms that would ensure a rat's capture without harming it, allowing for humane disposal or relocation. Poison was also employed as a means of controlling rat populations. While effective, the use of poisons required careful handling to avoid accidental harm to humans or other animals. The Pied Piper's method stands out not just for its unique nature, but also because it demonstrated a profound understanding of sound and behavior. In comparison to other methods, the piper's approach was more about manipulating the rats through their own sensory perceptions. In medieval Europe, the power of music was believed to transcend mere entertainment and possess profound influences over both humans and animals. Music superstitions were prevalent, with many believing that specific melodies could ward off illnesses or attract good fortune. For instance, in some regions it was thought that playing certain tunes could protect crops from pests and diseases. There are historical accounts of musicians being hired to perform specific pieces believed to have magical properties. One famous example is the tale of a musician who, by playing his pipe, led away a swarm of rats from a town that had been plagued. This story bears a striking resemblance to the legend of the Pied Piper of Hamelin. The belief in music's power was not limited to its effects on animals, it also extended to humans. Medieval people believed that particular tunes could heal ailments, with some melodies said to have therapeutic effects on mental health. In many towns, musicians were employed to play during times of sickness or unrest, hoping their music would bring calm and recovery. These practices offer insight into the cultural context that might have given rise to the Piper legend. The notion that a skilled musician could manipulate both humans and animals through sound aligns closely with the story of the Pied Piper. Understanding these superstitions helps us appreciate how deeply ingrained such beliefs were in medieval society. In medieval Germany, the Pied Piper legend unfolds against a backdrop of intricate town governance. Medieval towns were often self-governing entities, with councils holding significant power over local affairs. These town councils, comprising prominent and influential citizens, were responsible for making decisions that affected every aspect of daily life. Decisions regarding public health, infrastructure, and even extraordinary events like the removal of rats would fall under their purview. Records from towns similar to Hamelin show that councils had the authority to agree on extraordinary payments for services rendered. For instance, in the town of Rattenberg, documented cases reveal that councils would sometimes engage in special agreements with individuals who provided unique services. These agreements often involved substantial sums of money, demonstrating the town's willingness to compensate for unusual tasks. Comparatively, Hamelin's situation with the Pied Piper might have followed a similar pattern, where the town council agreed to pay for the removal of rats. However, the legend suggests that when it came time for payment, Hamelin's council reneged on their agreement. This breach of trust may have prompted the Pied Piper to take drastic action in response. Understanding these governance structures illuminates the political and administrative climate that could have influenced the Pied Piper's story. One effective method was the implementation of quarantines. Ships arriving from plague-stricken regions were often required to remain anchored outside ports for extended periods, known as lazarettos. This allowed time for any potential carriers of disease to reveal symptoms before passengers disembarked. Additionally, personal hygiene was emphasized to mitigate the spread of infection. People were advised to bathe regularly and to wash their clothes frequently. Public baths became common features in many towns. Despite its mythical origins, the tale of the Pied Piper offers a fascinating window into the historical strategies employed to prevent and mitigate disease outbreaks in medieval times. These efforts underscore the resilience and ingenuity of communities like Hamelin in their quest for public health and safety. By understanding these plague prevention strategies, we gain a deeper appreciation of the context within which the Pied Piper story unfolds, illuminating the complex relationship between folklore and historical reality. This historical backdrop not only enriches our understanding of the legendary figure, but also highlights the enduring efforts of communities to safeguard their populations from the threat of devastating diseases. During these outbreaks, towns faced substantial losses in productivity and trade. Businesses closed, markets faltered, and labor forces dwindled as workers fell ill or fled to safer areas. Farmers would keep animals like dogs and cats to control rat populations. These animals were not merely pets, but essential tools in pest management. The dogs and cats would hunt down rats, reducing their numbers and thereby minimizing the risk of disease spread. This practice was not just about controlling diseases, it also ensured the smooth operation of towns and villages during times of crisis. By managing pests, farmers could protect their crops from being destroyed by rats. The Rat and Finger House, associated with the legend, stands as a testament to this critical aspect of medieval life. The house serves as both a historical landmark and a symbol of the ongoing importance of effective pest management. Understanding the true story behind the Pied Piper reveals how crucial animal husbandry was in medieval society, not just for agricultural purposes but also for maintaining public health and safety. As we delve deeper into this fascinating history, we recognize that the legend is more than a folktale. It's a lesson in the practical strategies medieval people employed to safeguard their communities. This knowledge helps us appreciate the intricate balance that medieval societies maintained between sustaining their livelihood and protecting themselves from the devastating impacts of disease-carrying pests. Hamelin's response to this menace was both ingenious and desperate, hiring a skilled piper to lure away the rats that plagued their streets. This strategy was not unique to Hamelin. Towns across medieval Europe employed similar tactics to maintain the delicate balance between sustaining their livelihood and protecting themselves from devastating pests. In addition to pest control, medieval towns used various defensive measures against potential invaders and threats from without. They built walls, maintained watchtowers, and kept a close eye on borders to ensure their safety. These defensive measures underscore the importance of the Pied Piper's role in protecting Hamelin. His success in ridding the town of a significant pest threat highlighted the critical need for such innovative solutions during trying times. As the Pied Piper tale endures, so does the memory of these vital defensive strategies that once kept medieval towns safe and thriving. In medieval Europe, disease control strategies were vital for preserving the well-being of towns and villages. One such strategy involved the use of minstrels like the Pied Piper to spread awareness about hygiene and preventative measures. To combat the spread of diseases such as the plague, medieval societies implemented quarantines. Travelers arriving from affected areas were required to remain isolated for a period of 40 days. This duration was chosen because it aligned with significant religious and cultural beliefs, adding an extra layer of compliance. It also coincided with the estimated incubation period for many diseases. Sanitation was another key component in medieval disease control strategies. Towns would ensure that public spaces were regularly cleaned and maintained to prevent the buildup of waste and potential breeding grounds for pests. Minstrels played a crucial role in promoting public health by traveling from town to town, singing ballads that carried important messages about hygiene and disease prevention. These songs were often catchy and memorable, making them effective tools for spreading awareness. In addition to their role in disseminating information, minstrels like the Pied Piper of Hamelin also helped control rat populations, which were significant disease carriers. By luring rats away from towns with their music, they contributed to reducing the risk of plague outbreaks. Through these combined efforts of quarantine, sanitation, and the use of minstrels, medieval societies could effectively manage outbreaks and maintain the health of their communities. This historical context provides a deeper understanding of how vital these defensive strategies were in keeping medieval towns safe and thriving during challenging times. In medieval Europe, the Pied Piper of Hamelin is a figure shrouded in myth and legend. But beyond the fantastical tales, there lies a deeper historical significance that sheds light on ancient folk medicine traditions. Medieval folklore often intertwines with actual practices used by healers and mystics of the time. Among these was the use of music as a healing tool. Music in medieval Europe was not merely an art form, it held power to soothe both body and soul. This belief is evident in tales like that of the Pied Piper, who could command both rats and children with his enchanting melodies. Herbal remedies were another staple in medieval folk medicine. Plants, such as mandrake and belladonna, were used for their supposed healing properties, often prescribed by wandering physicians. Charms and incantations also played a significant role in medieval medical practices. These rituals were believed to harness the power of words and sounds to ward off illnesses and bring about well-being. The role of musicians like the Pied Piper in these rituals was crucial. Their ability to create enchanting melodies could enhance the effectiveness of charms and potions. This historical context provides insights into how figures like the Pied Piper might have been perceived as healers within medieval culture. Their music was seen not just as entertainment, but as a powerful tool with real therapeutic value. As we delve further into medieval life, it becomes clear that the boundaries between myth and reality were often blurred by practical needs and deep-rooted beliefs in the healing power of nature and the spirit. In medieval Europe, rat catchers played a crucial role in managing the persistent threat of rodent infestations. This was not just a matter of practical pest control, it had significant implications for public health and economic stability. Rats, known carriers of diseases like the plague, could wreak havoc on a town's population. The profession of rat catcher was thus vital for maintaining the health and well-being of communities. These rat catchers employed various methods to combat infestations. They used traps, poison, and even trained ferrets to hunt down rats in their burrows. One of the most effective tools was the rat catcher's long pole with a noose at the end, which allowed them to snare rats from a safe distance. The methods employed by these medieval rat catchers, while primitive by today's standards, were critical in maintaining the balance between human settlements and the ever-present threat of rodent infestations. These professions were not just about pest control, but also about preserving the public health and economic stability of communities, making them indispensable to medieval life. Understanding these professions offers a deeper appreciation for how medieval societies managed their environments and maintained their well-being amidst the ever-present challenges posed by pests. One of the primary medieval disease control techniques involved maintaining hygiene practices that were far ahead of their time. Residents used lime wash to coat the walls of their homes, creating a disinfecting layer that helped kill bacteria and reduce the spread of disease. They also relied on herbs and remedies derived from plants like rue, sage, and thyme to treat various ailments. Isolation strategies were another key component of medieval disease control. During outbreaks, towns would often quarantine affected individuals in designated areas to prevent further spread. In the context of the Pied Piper's role in Hamelin, his actions can be seen as a form of disease control by ridding the town of rats, known carriers of diseases such as the plague. While rats were a significant problem, town sanitation efforts were also crucial. Communities would clean streets and remove waste to minimize breeding grounds for pests. These practices, though simple by modern standards, were effective in managing the spread of diseases during a time when scientific understanding was limited. Unveiling these historical disease control methods provides a deeper appreciation for the context in which the Pied Piper's actions took place. Understanding these medieval techniques enriches the legend of the Pied Piper with historical accuracy and highlights the ingenious ways ancient communities fought against disease. Historical parallels can shed light on the Pied Piper legend, revealing a broader context of medieval life and the ingenious methods ancient communities used to combat disease. For instance, during the Black Death in the 14th century, wandering minstrels played a crucial role in providing solace and hope amidst the devastation. These traveling musicians often performed at plague-stricken villages, their music offering a respite from the relentless suffering and fear. Their melodies were believed to have healing properties, both physically and spiritually. Similarly, during this era, healers known as pest doctors traversed the land, armed with remedies that often included aromatic herbs and essential oils believed to ward off disease. These individuals were highly regarded for their knowledge and skill in caring for the afflicted. All three figures share a common theme. They were called upon during times of crisis and offered specialized skills that were desperately needed by the affected towns. This highlights the Pied Piper's historical significance as more than just a folktale, but as a reflection of real medieval practices. Similarly, pest doctors and minstrels sometimes faced resistance or non-payment from towns they had helped, underscoring the precarious nature of their work during such desperate times. This context deepens our understanding of how ancient communities coped with crises and the crucial roles that specialized individuals played in maintaining hope and providing essential services during trying times. In medieval Europe, towns faced an array of threats, from invading armies to ravaging diseases. To protect themselves, they devised intricate defense strategies. One key component was the city wall. These massive stone structures encircled the towns, creating a formidable barrier against attackers. Towns also constructed watchtowers at strategic points along the perimeter. From these vantage points, guards could spot approaching threats and raise the alarm. Medieval town defense strategies didn't stop at physical barriers. They also incorporated early forms of sanitation and hygiene to combat diseases like the plague. This was crucial in a time when rats were known carriers of devastating illnesses. Rat-infested areas posed significant health risks, and towns sought to keep these pests at bay. Without his intervention, the town might have faced dire consequences during an outbreak. Understanding these defense strategies sheds light on why the Pied Piper's actions were so vital to Hamelin.